This is the Your Money Hour podcast. I am your host, hosted by, sponsored by, Upstate Essential Solutions. If you need help with accounting and taxes for your business, contact me today at dakotagrady.com. And if you need help with personal finances, contact me at dakotagrady.com. Hey y'all, this is the last episode of the Your Money Hour podcast. I'm ending the podcast because it's time for a new brand. Time to switch things up a little bit. I'm changing the podcast to Coins, Cash Flow, and Conversations podcast. I'm still focusing on money and business. I just want to change things up a little bit. I started podcasting in July of 2020. And it's been 3 years, y'all. I've done over 100 interviews with people from different backgrounds, from marketing to leadership. I just did a podcast recently. I did one for my new podcast where a comedian here in South Carolina, in Greenville, South Carolina. I interviewed football coaches, entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs. A lot of people, y'all. But I think it's time to have some change in my life and change my brand, my look, and just continue the interviews to bring you value to you. Yes, you, the audience. I wanted to bring the podcast to people because I wanted to share a message of hope when it comes to business, because business is very, very hard. And I want to encourage you to start a business if you are on the fence. People are just like you. They have strengths and weaknesses, and they're operating in their strengths. Some of them in their weaknesses too, because they are the only person in the business. But their weaknesses don't stop them from working in their strengths. You don't have to have everything together. You don't have to know all the answers. What you do have to know is that you have value to add to the world, that you can do this. You can start a business using the skills that you already have to make a living for you and your family. I credit this podcast to, of course, God, Jesus Christ. And I also credit it to two guys who encouraged me to start one. My first guy is Jason Alexander. He told me about the spot. He told me about this podcast platform years ago, about 2016, I believe. I met him in Nashville, Tennessee area. We went to this event and I met him there, and we became friends. He told me about podcasting. I was afraid to do it, but he told me about the platform. Fast forward to about 2019, I believe. A friend of mine, his name is Dakota Grady. He's not my cousin, but we have the same last name. He encouraged me to start the Your Money Hour podcast. He helped me create the logo that I currently use for the podcast, I have for the podcast, and I started recording. I was using Zoom like I am now, which is the platform for doing meetings virtually, and I bought a mic, a Yeti microphone, the Blue Yeti, because my friend Joshua had one too. I think his was the gray Yeti, and this Yeti here is the plug and play, meaning you plug it into a laptop and you can record. I've upgraded since then. I still have the Yeti mic here, but I now have a better camera, and I'm using the camera's mic opposed to this mic. This mic is a prop to let people know that I am recording. I do have a podcast, but I'm still recording and giving value. I got a laptop, a microphone, and a camera. And that was it. And my message to share to the world about money, personal finances, and business, entrepreneurship. Because people need help with personal finances. My passion is to help people learn about money, learn how to manage their finances, their coins, so that they can live and prosper. Because it doesn't matter how much money people make. What matters is how well they manage what they make. In fact, research shows that 78% of people struggle financially. My goal is to help them get out of that rut of living paycheck to paycheck so they can earn income, manage it, and prosper. I'm also teaching people how to invest their money, because people want to invest. They want to know the what, why, and how, but they don't know the what, why, and how. So my goal is to teach them to invest while living debt-free. Give them the foundation of managing their finances, which includes budgeting, debt, getting out of debt, saving, and then investing your money. Because if you have the foundation of personal finances, you can learn how to invest and make your money work for you and grow. Then you can be able to live the life that you really want when you really increase your income. Because I believe people struggle because they don't have a money plan or a budget, and two, they don't know how to manage their finances. I believe people, if they learn how to manage their finances and they also had income that they use instead of using debt, they can go so much farther and farther in life. So my goal for the new podcast will be teaching people about money, like I have been here, like my personal finances, mostly interviewing with entrepreneurs, but the Your Money Out podcast was specifically talking about money and business, personal finances, and accounting and taxes, because that's what I do as well. Entrepreneurship. I believe if people had a big income, if they work on the income side of the equation, work on learning new skills to make more money, and then they learn how to manage that money, they will prosper. Because if they have money, a big chunk of change coming in every single week, every month, income that is, they wouldn't have to rely on borrowing money, on debt. They can live debt-free, use their money to invest in real estate, businesses, and also the stock market. Those are the three things I believe people should invest in to grow their finances, to grow their money. They won't have to rely on OPM, other people's money, right? So I'm going to end with this, telling you to increase your income as much as possible. Get out of debt. That's right. Pay off your debt. You got to have a mindset change when it comes to debt. I'm going to talk about that on the new podcast too, about mindset. If you continue to rely on debt, then you will continue to struggle financially. I know some people say use OPM to prosper, but I want to be different. I want to be a disruptor in the financial industry, because most people that I hear online who talk about money, they love to talk about borrowing money. I want to be different and say, don't borrow money, use your money to build generational wealth. Because if you got a big income, you want to borrow money, you can buy assets that will generate income, such as real estate or starting a business, which will generate income. And also you'll be able to invest your money in the stock market and it grow over time. That's how you become wealthy. So entrepreneurship is the way to wealth, because if you can, again, create a business and grow your income through that business, the sky is the limit for you. Nothing can stop you from moving towards your purpose, your goals, becoming who God created you to become. It's been a journey, y'all, for the ride. Thank y'all for joining me on the Your Money Out podcast. I hope you will continue to watch the podcast, listen to the podcast, share it, and only go to the podcast for your benefit and the benefit of others who want to learn more about personal finances and business, entrepreneurship. Thank y'all for joining me on the Your Money Out podcast. It's been a journey, y'all, and thank you for walking with me, listening to me, laughing, maybe crying, I don't know. Thank you all for giving me attention. Give me your ears so that you can learn about money and business and become inspired and empowered. I hope it was value added, and I hope you continue to listen to the podcast. Your Money Out podcast is ending today. New podcast, Cash or Coins, Cash Flow, and Conversation podcast will be launching next week, the week of October 16th. Thank y'all for joining y'all on the Your Money Out podcast, sponsored by Upstate Incentive Solutions. Check out the website at Dakota Grady